Hey guys, Arcturus here with another Genshin Impact video, and today we are going to be taking a look at the Geo Archon Zhong Li and exactly what makes him so amazing and whether or not you should roll for him in the next coming up banner in patch 1.5. Now, if you haven't already and you like what you see, please give me a like and subscribe. And if you have any comments, please let me know down below what you think about Zhong Li and whether or not you will be rolling for him and why. With that said, let's move on. We're going to start by taking a look at his talents. There's his normal attacks called Rain of Stone, which is just a series of spear attacks. The next one, his talent E, is called Dominus Lapidus. There's two ways to activate it, a press and a hold. If you press it, it summons a Stone Steely, which is a pillar on the ground. You can jump off of it, do a dive attack, climb it to get to places you couldn't normally reach. But it also does pulsing AoE damage in a small area around it. And when it pulses and does damage, it also has a chance, not guaranteed, but a chance to create a geoparticle. And then there's the hold function, and this is the crown jewel of Zhong Li's kit. When you hold it, it does AoE geo damage, it does extra geo damage to any geo elements like Hilichurl shields, but most importantly, it creates the Jade Shield. The Jade Shield does an extra 50% damage absorption against all elemental and physical damage, and when characters are protected by it, it also decreases their elemental and physical resistance by 20%, and it's just a small area around the shield, basically increasing the damage, and it gets halved though if the resistance goes below 0. Moving on to his ultimate, Planet Befall, or his Q ability, it summons a giant meteor to the earth, and it does massive damage. Now, it has a petrification ability where it freezes small to medium-sized monsters, and the best thing about it is when you do big charge attacks or you hit them with things that would normally knock things back, they don't move, which is amazing for DPS. Additionally, it has a 12-second cooldown, which is pretty decent, and the energy cost is only 40, which means you are going to be able to spam this off cooldown. Now, quick note, I forgot to mention, the cooldown of Dominus Lapidus is only 12 seconds even when you hold it, and the duration of the Jade Shield is 20 seconds, which means this unbreakable shield, as we're going to go over, lasts for longer than the cooldown, which means you are going to have this shield permanently. Now on to the passive talents. The first one, whenever the Jade Shield takes damage, it fortifies by 5%, up to a maximum of 5 times, so 25% increased shield strength. Now I'll be honest, I don't exactly know what effect this has on the shield, except that it makes it stronger. So it won't be in my math, but rest assured, the shield could only be stronger. Next we have Dominance of Earth, and this just increases his damage based on his max HP. You have an increase of 1.39% of normal charge and plunge attack, which really isn't that much. And then there's the increase to Dominus Lapidus, which is the damage done by the Stone Steely when it's summoned and when it pulses by 1.9%. Also, not much damage, but it's there. And lastly, there's Planet Befall, and this is the big one. It increases the damage by 33% of max HP, and we're going to see exactly how good that one is. And last, and also least, is his Arcanum of Crystal, which just refunds 15% of ore used when crafting polearm weapons. Moving to his Constellations, C1, it increases the number of Steelies you can have from 1 to 2. So not a big deal, but it increases the chance of getting those random generated particles, energy particles, and some pulse damage. Moving to C2, it allows Planet Befall to also grant a Jade Shield when it descends, so now you not only have one unbreakable shield, you have 2 unbreakable shields. Awesome. C3 just increases the level of his shield or Dominus Lapidus by 3. C4 increases Planet Befall's AoE damage by 20% and increases petrification duration by 2 seconds, which is pretty darn good. C4 and C2 are definitely ones you could be interested in getting if you have that kind of money or primo gems to spend. C5 increases the level of Planet Befall by 3, makes his ult stronger. And lastly, C6, whenever the Jade Shield takes damage, 40% of that damage is converted to HP, healing the current character, and it can't exceed 8% of that character's max HP. So now you have an unbreakable shield on your character, and if you ever put on a low HP character, they're being healed, most likely back to full life. A quick review of the difference between an elemental shield of a specific element versus a Geoshield is that an elemental shield does 250% damage absorption against the specific element, so it's kind of situational, while the Geoshield does 150% of all elements and physical damage. So definitely Geoshield is superior in this case when you look at its versatility. Moving on, we have the additional buffs to what we're going to be looking at for Zhong Li. The first thing is going to be the Tenacity of the Millilith, which is the new artifact set for Zhong Li in patch 1.5, and hats off to Honey Genshin Impact for compiling this database where I pulled this image from. They're wonderful. If you haven't seen their website, definitely look them up, Genshin Honey Impact. And let's take a look here. For the 2-piece set bonus, increases HP by 20%, which is totally up Zhong Li's alley. 4-piece bonus, when an elemental skill hits an opponent, the attack of all nearby party members is increased by 20%, so basically a noblesse oblige, and their shield strength is increased by 30% for 3 seconds, which is amazing, and this effect can be triggered once every half second. And it can be also triggered when the character who holds this artifact set is off his field, perfect for Zhong Li or Albedo. Taking a look now at the Geo Resonance Enduring Rock, which is if you have 2 or more Geo characters on your team, it increases shield strength by 15%, and any character protected by a shield has the following special characteristics. Their damage dealt is increased by 15%, which is just a flat 15% buff, and dealing damage to enemies will decrease their Geo resistance by 20% for 15 seconds, further increasing the damage that Zhong Li will be doing. Now to our feature presentation, the math. We're going to take a look at Zhong Li at a level 90 because, let's be honest, with a character like Zhong Li, 5-star Geo Archon, you're going to invest to max, and you really should, and this is going to basically tell you why. So his base HP is 14,695. Also, all talents will be assumed level 8 because, like I said, you're going to want to invest in him. Now I chose level 8 instead of 9 and 10 as well because past level 8 you need 2 of the weekly boss Ascension materials, and that can get quite difficult. So level 8 is a good medium in my opinion for a character that you will be investing heavily into. Next, you'll see that there's 2 columns, one if you have an HP goblet, and next if you have a Geo goblet. So HP goblet if you want stronger shields, and a Geo goblet if you want to also do a good amount of damage. And HP sands and HP circlet will also be assumed as well. Now, taking a look at the base attack, we got 251, which is Zhong Li's base attack at level 90, and for the base attack of the weapon, it's going to be 454, which is the base attack of Deathmatch or a bunch of other 4-star spears. And I chose Deathmatch because it is a weapon that everyone can get. It's $10, not that big of an investment through the battle pass, but it's better than assuming another 4-star spear that might boost his damage that some people might not be able to get through gacha, and I'm not going to assume a 3-star weapon with Zhong Li. Now, one thing you'll notice is that I'm only taking into consideration the level 20 artifacts base stat that everyone can get because I want to show you how strong Zhong Li is for everyone, and I'm not considering any artifact substats. So without a doubt, the numbers you see on your Zhong Li will be better. For the artifact HP additions, there's 4,780 from the Flower of Life, everyone gets this, and then 46.6% for the HP Sands, Goblet, and Circlet, depending on if we're doing the HP column or the Geo Goblet column. So his total HP is going to be 40,000 for the HP Goblet, or 33,000 if you have a Geo Goblet. And because of his passive ability, 33% of his max HP is going to turn into damage for his Planet Befall. Meaning for his HP Goblet, you're going to add 13,000 damage, and for a Geo Goblet, you're going to add about 11,000 damage, which is going to make quite a difference. Now, to take a look at his Jade Shield strength, assuming the talent level 8, Jade Shield provides a base 2,300 shield with an extra 20.48% of his max HP add, and an additional 50% from being a Geoshield. That means the shield strength with an HP Goblet is going to be 15,700. And keep in mind, this is the lowest value it could possibly ever be, okay? Jane Doe down the street can get this shield strength. you can get better with any substats, really any substats. And remember, Jane Doe down the street, she can get 15,760 shield strength. Now with the Geo Goblet, you have 13,657, also really respectable for the amount of damage you will be doing. With Geo Resonance, which adds an extra 15% shield strength, you're at 18,000 damage prevention. And with the Geo Goblet, you're at 15,700 damage. With the new set, you got extra 30% shield strength, and it also adds 20% max HP, and this means you'll be looking at 22,380 with the Geo Goblet and about 19,600 with the Geo Goblet. Add on to that the Geo Resonance, you're now looking at 25,700 damage for HP Goblet and 22,500 with the Geo Goblet. Now keep in mind, this is with the new set, so now you've got to find a 4 matching piece set for this, which makes this a lot harder, but I just want you guys to see what you could achieve if you put in a little more investment, and we all know that the artifact grind is freaking brutal. Looking on his ultimate now, Planet Befall, or his Q, the multipliers at talent 8, you have 28.8% elemental earth damage add, because that's just Zhong Li's ascension stat, and then there's 769% base damage, and that is from the skill itself. And don't forget, we have the deathmatch, which adds 16% base attack. It's not much, but I believe with a 705 base attack, 16% of that, you're looking at about 100 extra damage. And what this means is that his ultimate, which also will gain a 5% damage boost from the Jade Shield, and the way I got 5% is because most monsters in the game have a 10% elemental resistance, so in this case a Geo, so you still have 10% damage resistance decrease left, and when you go below 0%, any resistance damage done is halved, so now you've got 5% damage amplification. And what that looks like is that your ultimate will do 25,700 damage, non-crit by the way, AoE by the way, petrification by the way, and with a Geo Goblet, 35,000 damage. Now, if we were to add a crit strike with the base crit damage, which is 50%, everyone can achieve this. Literally everyone, you will have better crit damage. The HP Goblet crit strike is going to be 38,700 damage, and the Geo Goblet is going to be 52,800 damage. So take a look at this. Jane down the street, she is doing this much damage with literally the bare bones. Alright, throw in a Geo Resonance for an extra 15% all around damage and another negative 10% Geo Resistance amplification. You are looking at damage with an HP Goblet of 48,900 damage and a Geo Goblet damage of 66,800 damage. Now, if we were to add in just 30% extra crit damage bonus, which you can obtain from rolling crit damage about 4 or 5 times with all of your artifacts, is totally doable. You're now looking at an HP Goblet damage of 58,700 damage and a Geo Goblet damage of 80,000 damage. Once again, let me stress, that is AoE, that is petrification, and that is 40 energy, 12-second cooldown. Now lastly, with the new set coming in patch 1.5, first of all, I'd like to apologize. You can see here that the numbers aren't much different from the non-set, and that was my mistake. I did my math incorrectly there, but when I came back and triple checked it after I had completed the video, I had realized this mistake. Just to summarize though, this set will add anywhere between 2,000 for a no crit damage to your ultimate, all the way to about 6,000 damage with an 80% crit damage bonus. So just so you know, sorry for the mistake, but you're adding about 2,000 for a no crit all the way to 8,000 for just plus, you know, an extra bonus 30% crit damage from your sub-roll stats. So pretty darn good, but you do have to make that investment into artifact grinding, into getting all of that RNG luck rolls for that bonus damage. And that is gonna wrap it up. Thanks for looking at the numbers with me. Is Zhong Li worth it? Yeah. Is he the best support in the game? Yeah. Is he gonna trivialize the game? yeah, so definitely if you're into husbando Geo Archons that are super duper duper strong, Zhong Li is the one for you. As I was saying before, keep in mind, he is literally so strong, he is going to make the joke, but he's going to make the game a joke. But then again, Genshin Impact gameplay kind of already is a joke. Every character beats the game, easy peasy, so why not add a lemon squeezy to that? Anyhow, thank you for the time, guys. I'm sorry this was a long video, but there was a lot to go through without getting boggled down by all of it at one time. And like I said, subscribe if you like what you saw. I have more in the future, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks.